The Phoenix Force can destroy stars, reshape galaxies, and restart the Marvel multiverse. Dr. Manhattan can erase timelines, rebuild universes, and rewrite the rules of existence. Two reality warping gods, one ruled by passion, the other by reason. So what happens when the flame of creation meets the man who sees all of time at once? Let's find out. John Osterman didn't start off as a god. He was just a normal, soft-spoken nuclear physicist, your classic lab coat type. But as comic book fate would have it, he found himself in the middle of a freak accident during a radioactive particle test. Of course he did, because in the world of comics, particle accelerators and radiation chambers are just adult jungle gyms. Now, normally something like that turns you into a superpowered spider guy or a big brain rage monster. But John got vaporized, as in fully disintegrated. And then he came back. But not just back, not human, not even remotely. He reassembled himself on a quantum level and emerged as something the world had never seen, a being of pure energy, existing outside the normal rules of time and space. That's how Dr. Manhattan was born, a living god. In the Watchmen universe, he's easily the most powerful being in existence. He can manipulate matter and energy with a thought, phase through solid objects, regenerate his body from nothing, and casually teleport anywhere in the universe, because walking is just too inefficient. He can make clones of himself, build palaces on Mars, turn air into glass, rearrange atoms like Lego bricks, and even bring the dead back to life. And we're just getting started. He doesn't just see time, he exists in all of it. To Dr. Manhattan, time isn't a line, it's a photograph. He experiences every moment of his life simultaneously. He knows what he's already done, what he's going to do, and what he'll never do. Imagine always being everywhere you've ever been and will ever be at the exact same moment. That's his reality. He's not guessing the future, he's living in it right now, along with the past. That means he's always the smartest guy in the room, because he's already had the conversation. But here's the twist. What really separates Dr. Manhattan from everyone else, what actually makes him terrifying, is his total emotional detachment. He doesn't feel love, he doesn't feel hate, he doesn't get angry, he doesn't get anything. He observes, he calculates, he acts. And that cold, godlike perspective means he can make decisions no other hero or villain could stomach. Sometimes that makes him powerful, sometimes that makes him dangerous, and sometimes it makes him the villain. Remember how Dr. Manhattan sees all time at once? How he exists in every moment simultaneously? It can observe, manipulate timelines like strings of spaghetti? Well, that means that he can rewrite history. Literally, he can alter past events, shift the future, or change entire timelines from the outside in. He could save Krypton, prevent every superhero origin story, erase any villain, and rewire your whole life if he felt like it. This is where he stops being just a Watchmen character and becomes a DC game changer. Because Manhattan didn't just stay in his own universe. He reached into the main DC timeline and changed it. Let's talk Flashpoint. Barry Allen, the Flash, goes back in time to stop his mother from being murdered. Sounds noble, right? But that single act fractures the timeline. Suddenly, the world is unrecognizable. Thomas Wayne is Batman, not Bruce. Superman was locked in a government lab as a kid. Wonder Woman and Aquaman are at war, and the entire world is caught in the crossfire. It's total chaos. Barry tries to fix it. But here's the twist. He didn't actually cause it. That was Manhattan. Dr. Manhattan secretly interfered with the timeline, removing a full decade from the DC Universe's history. He erased relationships, rewrote backstories, deleted legacy heroes, and from that came the New 52. It was DC's massive continuity reboot, and Manhattan used it as his personal science experiment. He manipulated time itself just to watch what would happen, like a god peeking into an ant farm. But of course, even ant farms eventually crack. When things began to unravel, we got Doomsday Clock, the story where all this comes to light. Set in the aftermath of DC Rebirth, the event that began restoring the original continuity, Doomsday Clock reveals the truth. Dr. Manhattan was behind everything. The missing time, the fractured past, the erased characters. He was the one pulling the strings, watching, observing, and tinkering from afar. He didn't just mess with the timeline, he broke it. Naturally, the heroes aren't thrilled, so what do? They confront him. What does he do? Well, he wipes out half the Justice League with a flick of his hand. Green Lanterns try and fight him, he disarms them effortlessly. Magic users, doesn't work. To him, magic is just another pattern of subatomic probabilities. Superman, he's powerful, but even he's no match for Manhattan's omniscience and cosmic power. They all lose, because they were never going to win. You can't outfight someone who already knows how the battle ends. But in a surprising twist, Manhattan ends the story, not with a show of force, but with a change of heart. He sees the consequences of his manipulation, the damage he's done to the people and the world, and he chooses to let go. He restores the lost time, he gives back the histories of the characters, and he resets the DC universe, this time choosing not to interfere. He even destroys the DC metaverse, a unique universe tethered to the main continuity, and allows a new one to begin, this time without his influence. Then he leaves the DC timeline altogether. But of course, this is comics. That wasn't the end, because somewhere out there in the dark multiverse, someone else found Manhattan's power. Enter Dark Knight's Death Metal, a metal as hell event filled of twisted nightmare versions of Batman from alternate universes. And leading the charge, the Batman Who Laughs, a Joker-infected Batman with no morality and endless contingency plans. Well, it turns out that one of those contingency plans involved Dr. Manhattan. See, in another part of the multiverse, a Bruce Wayne had discovered the comedian's button and started experimenting with an intrinsic field generator of his own. The Batman Who Laughs, well, he locked that Bruce in the machine and turned him into a Manhattan-level being, just like John Osterman. But before that Bruce could fully ascend, the Batman Who Laughs lobotomized him and kept his body in storage. Later, with help from some twisted Alfreds and multiversal surgery, he implants his own brain into that omnipotent Bruce's body. The result? The Darkest Knight, a fusion of Batman's sadistic mind and Manhattan's god-tier power. And he's strong enough to challenge Perpetua, the literal mother of the multiverse. She created the Monitor, the Anti-Monitor, and the World Forger. She shaped existence itself, and this Manhattan-powered Batman beats her. That's how broken this level of power is. Eventually, it takes Wonder Woman, now upgraded with Manhattan's crisis energy herself, to stop the Darkest Knight. Their battle spans across time, space, and multiversal history, ending with her ultimate sacrifice to reboot the universe yet again. And what all this tells us is simple. Dr. Manhattan isn't just powerful, he's foundational. His power bends the rules of reality so hard they snap. Even a corrupted version of him is enough to beat the creator of all existence. So imagine what the original can do if he really wanted to. If DC Comics is a house of cards, Dr. Manhattan is the kid with a leaf blower. He's not just strong, he's not just smart, he's the cheat code the writers use when they want to break everything and then rebuild it from scratch. A walking reset button in glowing blue skin. Whether he's rewriting time, ending universes, or just floating naked on Mars thinking about life, one thing's clear. Dr. Manhattan isn't just a god in the DC universe. He's the reason it exists the way it does at all. Jean Grey. Before the fire, before the crown, she was just a girl who felt too much. When her best friend died in front of her, something inside her broke open, and through that crack, the universe looked back. What reached through wasn't comfort, it was the Phoenix Force, a cosmic entity older than the stars themselves, the spark that births creation, and the fire that ends it. The Phoenix Force isn't a being, it's a principle, the embodiment of life, passion, and rebirth across every plane of existence. When a star ignites, when evolution leaps forward, when a dying world finds new life, that's the Phoenix at work. It exists outside space and time, touching every reality simultaneously. In Marvel's cosmic hierarchy, it stands beside eternity and death, not a god among gods, but the flame that gives their stories meaning. And among all its hosts, none have ever understood it like Jean Grey. At first, she was the Green Phoenix, the perfect union of mortal will and infinite power. She held an entire starship together while flying through a solar flare, manipulated molecules on a quantum scale, and entered the McCrane crystal, the literal heart of reality, to repair its fractures before the multiverse collapsed. She didn't just move matter or energy, she bent the laws of existence back into alignment. But the flame that gives life also consumes. Under the manipulation of the Hellfire Club and the unbearable weight of godhood, that balance shattered. Jean became the Dark Phoenix, and the universe trembled. In this form, she transcended physical limits entirely. She traveled from one end of the galaxy to another in a heartbeat. She created energy blasts that outshone stars. She casually erased warships, consumed a star to feed her hunger, and in the process, annihilated a solar system, wiping out billions of lives in seconds. Even cosmic entities like the Watcher and Galactus only watched in horror, acknowledging the scale of her destruction. But here's the thing, even at her worst, Jean was still Jean. When the Phoenix hunger threatened everything, she did the one thing the Force itself could not. She chose mercy. She chose sacrifice. On the surface of the moon, she destroyed herself to stop the fire from consuming the universe. But death is just another word for waiting, and the Phoenix always returns. Through resurrection, rebirth, and reincarnation, Jean Grey became something greater. Not just the host of the Phoenix Force, but its true form made flesh. In the white-hot room, where all possible timelines converge, Jean ascended as the White Phoenix of the Crown, the living embodiment of creation's renewal. In that state, she wasn't just powerful, she was authorial. She could reshape timelines, resurrect worlds, and restore entire realities erased by cosmic entropy. She repaired broken futures and guided lost souls back into existence. At her peak, Jean as the White Phoenix isn't just rewriting destiny. She's editing the script, the multiverse itself. Eternity calls her its equal. death calls her inevitable, and the universe keeps burning because she wills it to. Across time, across every cycle of life and death, Jean Grey stands as proof of one truth: that the fire inside us, when guided by love and will, can rival the fire that made the stars. She's the girl who died to save a galaxy, the woman who rose to rebuild it, the hand that burns and the heart that forgives. She is Jean Grey. She is the Phoenix Force. And when the universe collapses into darkness, it's her light that starts it all again. So who wins? Well, let's break it down. Now, both of these beings, Dr. Manhattan and the Phoenix Force, aren't just powerful, they define what power means in their respective universes. One is the living flame of creation, rebirth, and emotion, the cosmic heartbeat that gives life meaning. The other is detached intellect given form, a being who rewrote reality just to see what would happen. Both can destroy universes, reshape timelines, and rebuild existence from scratch. But how they do it, and why, is what makes this fight so fascinating. The Phoenix Force exists beyond any single host. It's the sum total of all life, passion, and potential that ever was or will be. When it bonds with Jean Grey, that flame takes focus. As the Green Phoenix, she mends universes. As the Dark Phoenix, she devours stars and ends civilizations. And as the White Phoenix of the Crown, she transcends the Marvel multiverse itself, operating from the white hot room, the place where timelines are born and stories are edited before they unfold. At that level, Jean isn't just part of the cycle of life and death, she's beyond it. She has rewritten existence, resurrected entire civilizations, walked outside of linear time to restore broken futures. But then there's Dr. Manhattan, the man who became a god, a being who perceives all time simultaneously, who exists in every moment that ever happened or will happen. He can rewrite history, delete timelines, and rebuild universes at will. In Doomsday Clock, he casually erased 10 years of DC continuity, an act that reshaped billions of lives, and later restored it just because he had a changed mind. Even the fifth dimensional imp, Mr. Mxyzptlk, who treats the multiverse like a toy box, fears him. And when a version of Batman stole Manhattan's powers, that fraction of energy alone was enough to fight Perpetua, the mother of the multiverse herself. So, on paper, both of them can create universes, alter destiny, and manipulate the fabric of reality. But the difference lies in scope. Dr. Manhattan operates within the story. He controls timelines, reorders continuity, and resets reality from the inside out. He's a meta-narrative force inside DC's structure, capable of turning fiction into new canon. The Phoenix Force, though, especially as the White Phoenix, operates beyond structure. The white hot room is where Marvel's very concepts of creation and time converge. It's not just outside the universe, it's outside Marvel itself. The White Phoenix doesn't just edit a story, she can transcend the library. And that's where the tiers start to separate. Against lesser incarnations, the Green Phoenix or even the Dark Phoenix, Manhattan probably wins. His quantum perception makes him almost untouchable. He'd see every move before it happens, dismantle her atoms mid-thought, and erase her from history before the fight even begins. He's beaten heroes who exist as ideas, Superman included, and he's rebuilt universes as casually as breathing. Against those Phoenix forms, his precision and omniscience gives him the edge. But once Jean ascends as the White Phoenix of the Crown, the equation changes. At that point, she's not fighting in the timeline, she's fighting above it. She can step outside reality entirely, interact with the architects of Marvel's continuity, and rewrite the fundamental story itself. That's a scale Manhattan can't quite reach. He can destroy and recreate inside his universe, but he's still bound by its rules, still a player inside its sandbox. The White Phoenix sits above hers. So if we're talking raw multiversal creation and manipulation, Manhattan wins against nearly any Phoenix incarnation short of White. But if she's fully ascended, if she's the living embodiment of the force that births universes and burns them clean when they're done, then she outscales him, because while Manhattan is the scientist who studies reality, the White Phoenix of the Crown is reality, its passion, its renewal, its next breath after the end. Dr. Manhattan is the god who rewrites the story. The White Phoenix is the fire that makes sure stories can exist at all. When creation itself takes the field, even a god has to burn. The Phoenix Force wins.